What is up, YouTube? Vince the Prince here, back again. Hope you paid attention to that intro. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in just a little bit. But here, back again for another Week 10 Power Rankings video. Obviously, we are progressing throughout the season, coming into Week 10's games this week. It's getting pretty spicy. A lot of teams are sitting atop their divisions, along with somebody in the division nipping at their heels. For the NFC West, it's 3 teams in the race right now, and a lot of teams really losing this week when maybe they really shouldn't have if they wanted to keep these playoff hopes solidified. But really, again, we'll be going over the same criteria that we always go over: points scored, points allowed, offensive and defensive efficiency, and strength of defensive and offensive matchups. So at this point in time, it's getting, like I said, really spicy. There's a lot of teams that need to buckle up going into these last, 9 weeks of the season, as either they have a really late bye week or they already did and they have 9 games to go. So right now is like getting almost into crunch time, where it's like you have those last 4 or 5 games where you just need to flip the script and make sure that you win out. Or this is the time where you go into the beef of your schedule. And we'll talk a little bit about that going forward. But let's get right into it. At number 1, if you paid attention, the Seahawks. That's why I did the little intro there with Seahawks edition. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on my Seahawks here at number 1 because I don't know if we'll ever be back. Maybe not this year. We do have a tough schedule coming up. Obviously, we have 2 division rivals. As you can see there, we do have the Arizona Cardinals this week, and we are going against the LA Rams after that. It's going to be pretty crazy. There's going to be a lot of divisional games coming up for a lot of teams, especially the NFC West. All 4 of us will be playing against each other this week. A little spoiler alert there. But we just put the beating of a lifetime on the Washington Commanders. I felt bad for one of my buddies at work. He was a Commanders fan, and we went to the bar to go watch the game. And it was, getting pretty close there to leaving mid-second quarter, halftime at the latest. But we stuck it through, and, poor Jaden Daniels. I wish he didn't get hurt. I wish they would have pulled him from that game. But it is what it is. Seahawks got the very astounding and pounding type of win. This solidified us, in my opinion, to be one of the best teams. That's just why I have us at number 1 here. Offensive, we're doing amazing, as you guys can see. The best wide receiver in the league as of yardage right now. We have one of the best defenses, top 5, if you look at all stats and everything like that. We are one of the best against rushing offenses, leaving, I believe, no running back at all this season has more than 100 yards against us rushing. So doing really good, in my opinion. Flipping the script from last year, and that is why we sit at number 1. Next week, like I said, we have the Arizona Cardinals. It's going to be a tough one. We are favored, obviously. This one's at home, but we are a away type of team. We play great away. We are 4-0 there. But at home, we are 2-2. So this is the time to really buckle down, especially coming into these next few games. We got to win at home, guys. If you want to be the number 1 team here, you have to show why you are, especially at home. So Seahawks sit at 1. You guys think I'm biased? I guess maybe I am. It's finally time that I get to be, because I feel like my Seahawks have showed it. But let me know down in the comments, guys. Should we be here or should we be way lower? Sitting at number 2, I have another NFC West team, the LA Rams. Like I said, all 4 teams will be playing each other this week. This past week, the Rams did really good against the New Orleans Saints, as they should have. Now, the Saints are losing a player. Shaheed going to the Seahawks. Whoop, whoop. But the LA Rams look, piping hot just as much as the Seahawks did against Washington. They did against the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans has been keeping up with a lot of teams, and I thought this one might be, a nail biter where LA might give up a little bit too much. but the defense came to play. They stopped the run. They kept Kamara to like just a couple of touches here and there, really not gaining any yards and making him disappear in the game script. And just, the entire offense in general. It feels like the New Orleans Saints were just not ready to play this game, or it could mean that the LA Rams are just that good to be at number 2 overall. They were here back in week 8, and now they're back in week 10. They have a tougher matchup in an NFC rival here, the San Francisco 49ers, right down the road there in Cali. So it's a pretty close game for both of these teams, whether it's, the home team of San Fran or LA, going up the road maybe like less than 200 miles. So they might drive there. Who knows? But yeah, so this one's going to be a pretty interesting game. This will shake out to see who is second, possibly in the division there, or who overtakes the division outright if the Seahawks lose. Obviously, Seahawks don't want to do that, but obviously the LA Rams and San Francisco 49ers want to win one of these games to go ahead and get the step up on one of us. So I do think their offense is one of the greatest in the league right now. It doesn't matter who's injured or who's out there, but with Puka Nacua coming back, it feels like this is a juggernaut team again. Defense is coming around a lot too, stopping the run, really good in playing the sticks and making sure that first downs are not a plentiful thing for the other team. So the Rams are just a really good team overall. And I feel like it's great because now the NFC West gets to show why they are the best division in the league. And so I'm not mad that the Rams are here, but I'm also not happy. But we'll see. We face them again in week 11, like I said earlier. And so we'll see if the Seahawks and the Rams are still at 1-2. If they are, it's going to be a heck of a matchup. The highest ranking teams in my power rankings to ever face up against each other so far. So it should be pretty cool if both these teams win. I'm looking forward to it. At number 3, the Philadelphia Eagles. They had a bye week, right? And it's not usual that you see a team move up 3 spots after a bye week, but it was just circumstantial. Obviously, in week 8, they played really good. And I guess they deserve this bye week, getting healthier, hopefully getting things under control, getting the feng shui back of the team. So no real grading here on their offensive and defensive grading. But I just feel like this team is good, and they continue to get better as the season goes along, as we saw last year, where they had that great run to get to the Super Bowl and, ended up winning it. So next week, they have a tough matchup in a tough place to play. They're going to Green Bay. They're going to face the 5-2-1 Green Bay Packers, who just had a really bad loss. So Philadelphia is primed and ready, fueled up, rested. Everybody's getting healthy again because no big impact there for the Philadelphia Eagles offense or defense. So they had the time to get ready for this game and plan thoroughly. And I think what they just saw from the Panthers is going to be really, really good in trying to beat these Green Bay Packers at home. So that one's going to be a pretty special thing there. I don't know if there's ever been a time where Green Bay has lost back-to-back home games, but that would be something really cool to search up and see if that is something that has happened within the past 5-10 years or something. But we'll see. Other than that, I think this is going to be a really good game. It is at Monday Night Football, so you'll either see me or you'll see me and Reed during this game. If Reed watches this game, I don't know if he's going to like what's going on, but I just hope it's a really good one. But other than that, guys, we will see you on Monday Night Football for this game. Let us know what you think the score will be down below. Here, sitting at number 4, I have the Buffalo Bills, who just toppled the Chiefs here. So there you go, Dizzle. That is why I did not have the Chiefs at number 1. I just knew they were going to lose. So why put them up there and watch them lose? I'm just kidding. A lot of number 1 teams have lost right after I put them up there. So nothing to knock off on the Kansas City Chiefs, but Buffalo just played really good, especially their defense. It feels like they just put a stop to the nonsense that Kansas City was doing against these really, really bad teams. They had a really good game against Washington the week before. That's Kansas City I'm talking about. But now they come to face an opponent that usually owns them in their regular season. believe the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen are 5-0 or 4-0 against the Chiefs. So a pretty cool thing. Obviously, playoffs is the absolute opposite. They have not gotten a dub over Kansas City, but they played really good in this one, and I like what I saw. Hopefully, this team continues to figure out ways to just dominate the Kansas City Chiefs and not let them get to the Super Bowl again, because I do believe the Buffalo Bills will be one of the top teams in the playoffs this year. This next upcoming week, they are going to play the Miami Dolphins. I believe this one should be an easy win, but we've seen a lot of divisional games kind of go differently. Miami's been playing good, except for this last week, losing to the Baltimore Ravens pretty bad. So this one just could be another barn burner. As you can see there, when I took this picture, the odds were 9.5 in favor of the Bills. So if you think the Bills are going to win by 10, which I do, go ahead and put a bet in. But bet responsibly and make sure your parlays are top notch. But other than that, the Bills look good on the defensive side, and obviously offensively, they continue to get it done with the run game and Josh Allen finding his tight ends for touchdowns and big yardage. So if you think the Bills are a top 5 team, put it down below, guys. Let me know. Sitting here at number 5, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. Just took the L to the Buffalo Bills like we just talked about, but now they get to recover and they have a bye week. But like I said, defensively, they played mediocre in my opinion, giving up 28 points to the Buffalo Bills, which is not bad. We've seen a lot of teams give up more. But offensively, it just looks like they hit a rut. Rashee Rice did well, but not well enough. It feels like Kelsey did okay, just not well enough. Again, the story goes on and on for every single player. Kareem Hunt looked okay, but what really were you expecting? It feels like running back is the weakest point here. We did see something that the Kansas City Chiefs were trying to get Breece Hall for a 4th-round pick, but it just didn't work out. The Jets wanted a 3rd, and the Chiefs were not willing to do this, to give up some future there for Breece Hall, who may not work out in their system. But at this point in time, Patrick Mahomes continues to play like Patrick Mahomes. He just needed a little bit more help from his surrounding crew there. And like I said, the defense of the Buffalo Bills just played tremendous, making sure that he did not get what he's been usually getting against these past 2 to 3 weeks with these bad or worse teams. So in my opinion, the Chiefs dropped down. They're still good. I still think they're a threat going into the middle to end of the season. But as of right now, they're going to rest up, and hopefully coming back in week 11, they can get back on that winning streak to hopefully try to take this division, as they are falling behind. And you know what they say, you fall behind late, it's hard to catch up. But with Denver sitting at 7-2, the Chiefs sit behind them about 2.5 games because of the tiebreaker that Denver has on them. We'll see if the Chiefs can do it. Let me know down there below, guys. Do you think the Chiefs will win the division, or do you think that they just sneak into the playoffs this year and still wreak havoc? Sitting at number 6, guys, I have the New England Patriots moving up 2 spots after the slim win against the Atlanta Falcons this past week. This game I really did not watch too much because I was busy, doing things on a Sunday, getting ready to buy a house. As you guys can see, my setup and these boxes. We are moving pretty soon. So within the next month or so, I'll say that I'll be all set up in the new place. So bear with me. We'll try to get these videos out on time, as well as, with good reviews. But the Patriots played fairly well from what I've saw or what I've seen. And at this point in time, they're going up against a tougher matchup this week with a team that just came off of a rest. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are coming to bring havoc in Florida against the New England Patriots. So I think this could be a really tough game for the Patriots. I don't know if they will win this one. I hope they do, because I have Drake May in a lot of fantasies, and hopefully he just continues to play well. Do I think Tampa Bay will hold him down? Not really. Do I think they have a chance to win this game? Fairly so, right? As you can see there on the odds, Tampa Bay is favored by 2.5. So not really something too big for a home team there against the New England Patriots. But both these teams only have 2 losses. Who's going to be the one to get the 3rd? I have a feeling that it could be the Patriots. if they don't bring their A game. Obviously, Tampa Bay is injured with a plethora of areas, but I do believe they are getting healthier after this bye week, and it should be a pretty good matchup against some fairly good offenses, even though there's injuries there. But at this point in time, guys, let me know down in the comments, do you think the Patriots will win this week? If they do, by how much? Sitting here at number 7, I have the Denver Broncos. So a good win. It was the battle with defenses in this one, as well as kickers. But defensively, Denver looked good. Houston looked good. But Denver's offense just got a little bit more there as they ended the game with a field goal kick, and they ended up winning. So this one was pretty interesting in my opinion. I think next week's going to be a whole lot easier for Denver facing up against the Las Vegas Raiders at home. But this past one, again, defensive grading for both these teams was very good. But offensively, facing up against tough defenses, it's hard to get a really high offensive rating just because of the turmoil that both defenses put on each other. So this one, if you love defense, this was a great game to watch. But if you loved offense, you might have been bored with this one and been, moving on to some other channels. And this one really wasn't on red zone quite often because of the defense also. So if you didn't even see this game at all, it might be just because of that. But Denver continues to play well. Sitting at 7-2, like I said earlier, they are at the top of that AFC West division. And in my opinion, they might want to keep it. So this will be the first time that they win it in quite some time since Peyton Manning was there, I believe. We all know how that happened that year. But Denver looks like they are back and primed with R.J. Harvey at the running back position, also playing very well. But Bo Nix just doing just enough to make sure that they get the stub here. And the defense obviously pulling more than just their weight. But like I said, playing against Las Vegas coming up, I think this should be an easy game. But what do you guys think? Favored by 9, as you can see there. Do you think Denver wins by more? Or do you think this is a tougher matchup with a divisional rivalry? All right, guys. Here at number 8, I got the Detroit Lions. Tough loss this past week against the Vikings. The Vikings looked pretty good. Again, I thought the Detroit Lions would win this one going against J.J. McCarthy. Fairly much a rookie. Second year here, but obviously first year we saw just the injury, the ACL injury, take him out for the entire year after playing 1 or 2 preseason games, I believe. But Detroit also dealing with a lot of injuries last year and finally looking like a good team until these past few weeks. There's some dominant weeks and then there's some not so dominant weeks like this past one. Obviously, some players there like Laporta, not Gibbs at all. I had him in one league and he was not a stellar guy. Amon-Ra St. Brown doing his pool of share there, or share of the pool, but really nothing amazing on the offensive side for the Detroit Lions. If anything, the defense tried their best as well, but Minnesota just squeaked by as much as they could in order to get these points that they needed, and ended up winning by 3. But Detroit will go against Washington, a team that just got blasted by my Seahawks. So Washington is licking their wounds right now. A lot of injuries this past game, losing both on the offensive and defensive side. So I think this one should be a win, an away win for the Detroit Lions. And I'm really not looking back, favored by 8 here, Detroit. It's pretty low, but I think it's just because of what happened this past week. But I think this one is definitely a safe pick in my opinion. For those of you who are doing parlays and stuff like that, very responsibly. I think this should be an easy pick, but we all know that when you say it's an easy pick, sometimes it's not. So what do you think, guys? Do you think the Detroit Lions just sweep it here? Maybe skunk the Washington Commanders, maybe our second shutout of the year? Let me know down in the comments, guys. Here at 9, I have the Indianapolis Colts, another team that had a tough loss this past week against the Pittsburgh Steelers at that. So Aaron Rodgers at home just doesn't want to lose, especially after losing to Green Bay. But he came in this week and, gave it his all. Indianapolis just looked, like a shell of themselves. Daniel Jones looked like he was seeing ghosts again, like he used to with other teams, especially the Giants. But Yeah, it was the defense here, in my opinion, that really got this W. Obviously, Pittsburgh's offense played well, but the Colts' offense did not. Guys that usually get 30 points, 20 points, were not even close this past week. So that's a problem for Indy, dropping 8 spots after being number 1 here. They should have a fairly easy rebound against the Atlanta Falcons, but I just don't know. Obviously, Atlanta has played some really good games before. I don't think this is a good game to put on your parlay for the Indianapolis Colts to cover by 6.5, depending on where you're betting. But I do think Indianapolis can use this game at home to kind of get back on the right track, right? Falling to 7-2, they were the only team there that only had 1 loss. But now coming into Week 10, they sit at 7-2 as well. And they are also looking to keep their lead in this division. Obviously, the AFC South is not as competitive, but they do have the Jacksonville Jaguars right on their heels, 2.5 games down. So this should be, time for the Indianapolis Colts to continue to get back on track. So, in my opinion, this one out there on the other side of the world, 8:30 in the morning or 7:30 in the morning or 9:30 in the morning for you, depending on where you live in the U.S. or in the hemisphere of the world. This one should be a good one. I do think Indianapolis Colts should run away with it, but obviously being on another home turf while you are the home team could be some difficulties there. But what do you think, guys? Do you think the Colts win easily, or do you think the Atlanta Falcons give them a tough game? And last but not least, I have the Green Bay Packers. OMG. Obviously, another team that should not have lost, especially to an opponent of this caliber. Now, that's nothing bad to say about the Carolina Panthers, but if the Green Bay Packers are all that in a bag of chips, as well as the cheese and queso there, they should have won this game pretty easily, but they didn't. So losing 16 or 13-16 against the Carolina Panthers at home in Lambeau. We're supposed to go watch you guys play the Vikings. Vikings just took down the Lions. This is not looking like a first good game to visit Lambeau for Reed. We'll see. Maybe they turn it around by then. They have 2 weeks to do so before we go out there and fly out there and see them. We shall see, right? This week, they have a tough one going against the Philadelphia Eagles. This is another home game, guys. And again, as I said earlier in this video, is there a way that we can check if the Packers have lost 2 in a row at home? Because if they do, this is maybe some history we're watching, but maybe not. Maybe I'm just, bringing it out there and making it a thing. But obviously, the Green Bay Packers sit at 5-2-1. This one is going to be interesting. Obviously, both teams fighting to keep their lead in their divisions. So, in my opinion, this one should be a very interesting game. Again, the Philadelphia Eagles don't really have to worry about too much, but the Green Bay Packers do, with the Lions and Bears sitting at 5-3, just waiting for the Green Bay Packers to slip up one more time. So this one should be a good brawl for the division there. The Packers definitely need to get something going on offense because their defense did pretty well. Holding the team to 16 points, you should most likely win this game, especially when you have a really good offense like the Packers do in the run game and the pass game. But it just did not look like that. So dropping 8 spots, just like the Colts did, all the way down to 10. They are at risk for falling out of the top 10, so they need to get it together, or this could be, I believe the first time the Packers are not inside the top 10 this year. So pretty crazy. But yeah, guys, that is the top 10 there. We will get down here to 11 through 20. Obviously, a lot of teams rising. Chargers are looking to make it into the top 10. The Vikings and Bears are looking to make it into the top 10 to join their NFC North partners or kick them out, as well as the Steelers, the San Francisco 49ers, Jaguars, Buccaneers, and Ravens. Maybe even the Panthers sitting at 19 there, making their way up. Also, here's 21 to 32. Obviously, a lot of teams losing here, but obviously the only people moving up there are the Raiders and Titans. And really, the only team that won here, I believe, is the Raiders. So pretty crazy there. A lot of teams losing this week and a lot of teams winning, obviously, the other half of the league. But just a crazy sequence here. So guys, let me know down below. Do you think your team should be ranked higher? Is there a team in the top 10 that should not be where they're listed at, including my Seahawks? Let me know. But what do you think about this video, guys? Let me know down in the comments. Hit the like button if you liked it as well, and hit the subscribe button if you're loving the content that we're putting out here on NSP. We go live for y'all, we do fantasy, we do power rankings, we also have some fun videos and reels that come out every now and then. So let us know what we should be doing, guys. Other than that, thank you for watching, and as we always say, keep on ranking.